Did someone say SAO Endgame? First it was Goddess Asuna, now Goddess Sinon has arrived. So what's up guys, Foxen here. SAO Alicization, War of the Underworld episode 12. Final episode for a while. That went by way too quickly. Luckily I got a chance to rewatch SAO War of the Underworld during Christmas. So, feeling awesome? Smash that like and let's dive into this with Asuna and friends. Kicking this off, that major cliffhanger. Did someone say freedom? All of a sudden you have around 30,000 US Red Knights spawning. Perhaps the Underworld has some hidden oil. And goddamn, looks like these red players were true to their color, just killing anything in sight. To be honest, I was feeling worse for the Dark Territory this episode. I mean, it really seems like the Dark Territory side just can't catch a break. First you had Alice that nuked them, then Alice again that went bankai on them, and now they're getting it from behind by the US players. Thankfully, Goddess Asuna to the rescue, hell yeah! Might as well take advantage of that overpowered Goddess Stacy ability, time to create some land. So obviously Asuna here was in pain. In fact, I got a feeling that Asuna might even kill herself if she just kept on going trying to destroy the entire Red Knight army. Which is why I'm wondering, did the anime fully capture to what extent the pain is that Asuna is enduring? I would say no. I mean, just creating this wall caused Asuna pain much worse than last time. She was literally feeling like her floodlight was being rubbed away, just as this rock structure was rising up. Then, for Alice stopping Asuna, once again a huge applause to the anime, really liking how Alice is coming across here. If anything, Alice and Asuna look super buddy-buddy here. I'm sure that recent slumber party is to thank. Switching to Iskan, I mean, who doesn't just love this dude after this episode? Oh my god, is that a Taboo Index reference? So like I hinted last time, a similar restriction does exist on the Dark Territory side. These guys are kept in line by this rule of power. Definitely don't question the strongest. Unfortunately, the current top dog just happens to be Gabriel, cosplaying as Emperor Vector. But goddamn, Isko is freaking hardcore. The guy brutally scooping out his own eyeball. Definitely don't try that at home. Iskan has fully ascended into this top tier Underworld character. By the way, some clarification on the guy removing his own seal. The SAO novel emphasized this being similar to what Yujo and Alice had done, but not exactly the same. Iskan here removed his own eye seal via brute force, unlike Yujo and Alice that achieved this through their own willpower. Iskan still couldn't actively betray Emperor Vector, but finding some loophole in his past order was an open option now. Then, for Iskan's leap of faith. Oh, Gabriel said not to cross the rope. Okay, fine. The guy didn't say anything about not jumping the goddess gap. And props to his wingman buddy too, arm completely wrecked. I actually pictured a much smaller pebble when reading this, so love the anime version. Anyway, getting back to Asuna plus the Integrity Knights. Lovely quick animation here picking off those XP bags. At least at the beginning, Goddess Asuna was focused on PKing these US players in one hit. You know, since there's no pain absorber protection. Aww, Asuna thinking about her enemies. And chilling scream from Asuna freaking out here. I'm sure I wasn't the only one feeling this rain of goosebumps there. It was Asuna to the rescue, but not so fast. You're now able to clearly see that even the Asuna God account isn't invincible at all. A single Red Knight was able to do that much damage. Unfortunately, the anime sped up some stuff by having Asuna completely heal herself here. In the SAO light novel, Asuna only healed the cutoff to stop the bleeding. This just led into a later scene between her and Kirito being cut out. It was almost as if Kirito sensed that Asuna got hurt. The guy was crawling out of his wheelchair to go to her. When Asuna got back to Kirito, Kirito was focused on her cut wound. It was then during this meetup that Asuna fully healed herself. Anyway, getting into the Asuna and Iskan team up. First off, slight anime change right here. Iskan just pulled Asuna up via her shoulder. Compare this to the SAO light novel. Iskan here definitely seemed more like a gentleman, at least going by the picture. As for Sheta here, you really do have to love this Integrity Knight vouching for the fire type boxer guy. And I can't be the only one going over the moon each time Asuna uses her goddess magic. It really is a shame that the anime seemed to really be diminishing the extent that Asuna is strained by using this. Asuna creating that land bridge, in reality she almost knocked herself out. Switching it over to Alice. No surprise to see this knight easily shatter those Red Knights. They're not exactly weak, but their main strength is raw numbers. You could almost think of them as this red zombie horde. Right here, Alice did take notice of how strangely these Red Knights behaved. They didn't care at all about dying. Alice now had an idea about what Asuna meant about the real world not being this utopia if people like this existed. Also, just a little clarification on what Alice was even trying to do. She was trying to break through the Red Knights, and eventually wanted to try the Death Beam of Destruction round 2. But surprise! God Vector finally entered the battlefield in Snatch mode. Alice has been officially captured, main character status also officially now removed too. Cut out from the anime here was any detail regarding this darkness god. Gabriel actually used his voice incarnation to knock out Alice. Switching it to Renly, I gotta give the dude credit. While I didn't like his introduction in the anime, I've been slowly warming up to him. As for Bercoli, time to chase Gabriel. I like the touch of his whistle. Also, looks like they're finally more generous with their CG usage. You got some CG dragons plus Bercoli too. I'll be fair and say I'll give this a pass. We've had some wonderful work this SAO season. Then, for the super happy Gabriel, the guy stolen his blonde princess. What is he, Bowser? Cut out here was his quick thoughts. You're not gonna be surprised to find out Gabriel was a super happy boy since he was almost ready to taste Alice's soul. But back to the lovely Asuna. She might not be able to heal Kirito up, but healing her arm, no problem. Too bad, she's not matching Kirito up anymore. Slice down here where Asuna stops regarding her Full Metal Alchemist quirk. Creating another colossal wall might forcefully disconnect Asuna, or even physically damage her own brain. Then, for Asuna's bombshell drop, the harsh reality of the situation. Now that Alice has been captured, the destruction of the Underworld as a whole is close. For Isekan here, gotta love his logic. The Light Priestess has been captured, so officially we're off duty. Retrieving Alice is totally fair game now. Did someone say an Isekan and Shetta team up? Aw, they remember each other's names. Although really, both of these lovebirds left behind, they're essentially embalming themselves in the suicidal final stand. Anyway, switching it to the real world with Critter. Some of you asked me last time, did Asuna one-hit KO this Dark Knight via hole? Yup, she did. But don't count out this slimy fella just yet. Thinking about Asuna and Kirito got him super excited. And from the Assault team side, Critter really turned out to be this MVP. The dude was already getting ready more rounds of US players to crash this Underworld party. For Vasago here, they cut out the scene of Vasago giving Critter his SAO account info. The anime has already implied this guy being this SAO survivor. Some of you have guessed who Vasago is. If you want to know the spoiler, post below. So back to Asuna and friends, round 2 for the US invaders, surrounded too. What is that, a handful of humans versus 20,000? Anyone else getting this 300 vibe? But hold up, did someone order a miracle? Goddess Sinon has entered the chat. Sinon might have even outstaged Asuna just nuking the whole area. Good thing too that she happened to kill the right people. Not only can the god Solus account fly, so much raw power. She's more like this goddess of destruction. Come on, that goddess Sinon figure can't come out fast enough. Then that lovely Asuna and Sinon hug. I could just smell the Asuna and Sinon shippers incoming. Sorry Yuki and Kirito. By the way, that post-credit scene with Vasago, it felt kind of lackluster. It was really just Vasago competing with Gabriel for the best smile. So not only an amazing way to end this mid-season finale, but also 2019. This was such a standout episode for Isekan and Asuna. A nice cherry on top at the end was Goddess Sinon making her debut. By the way, we have gotten a new visual and teaser for the upcoming SAO War of the Underworld Part 2. You can see the 3 goddesses, Asuna, Sinon, and Lifa. On the actual poster, one Kirito plus 2 others. At first, one of them actually looked like Eiji to me. But of course these two are Yujo and Alice. The only thing missing from the poster? A splash of Kayaba would have been nice. Although to be fair, the entire visual is already pretty busy. I almost got a little worried too seeing the words last season. By this I'm sure they mean final season for SAO War of the Underworld or SAO Alicization as a whole. As a hardcore SAO fan, I'm really just hoping they got the next SAO project in the works now, at least early development. Post-war events, there is this SAO Alicization side story. If they wanted to, this could easily be turned into a movie, or expanded into this 12-episode anime tale. Unfortunately, the supposed final SAO arc, SAO Unito Ring, is still very new. It basically just started. It might actually be better to consider doing this SAO Aincrad reboot. This time, it might be a great idea to adapt things more slowly, more like a shonen anime. Go ahead and use My Hero Academia, Dr. Stone, or Demon Slayer as examples. Anyway, getting into my quick War of the Underworld thoughts. The best and worst. Definitely chime in with your best and worst down below. First off, the best 5. 1. That Eldrie scene. I think this pretty much speaks for itself. I mean, you had some top animation for the anime, and now in the anime you have a parallel to Kirito doing something similar in SAO Season 1. 2. Asuna's Underworld debut. Another scene that exceeded my expectations. 3. The Asuna and Alice meetup. I mentioned before being really worried about how this would be handled in the anime. I ended up being pleasantly surprised. The anime actually ended up fixing a lot of the issues I previously had. Nice inclusion at the end with Asuna actually being the one sleeping at Kirito's side. 4. Liz's speech. Really, what a heartwarming plea to action from her. I've actually been surprised at how many of you mentioned that you really resonated with her speech. And 5. Alice as a whole. For better or for worse, at least in the anime, Alice so far has been one of the most developed and fleshed out characters. Just seeing Alice's portrayal in the actual anime has made me much more of a fan of hers. I've also spoken to some people that weren't exactly fans of SAO. On the flip side, they've really warmed up to the Alice character. And let me apologize for being a downer, but the worst 5. 1. That Bercoli killing minion scene. I was not a fan of this scene first watching, and even on the second rewatching recently, it really didn't sit well with me. If anything, it made the whole thing seem like a non-threat. 2. The Alice kiss, but not really a kiss scene. I would say that I have no idea why they would put this in the anime, because it wasn't in a light novel. But unfortunately, you do have the obvious answer, which is really to get people talking. Naturally, you don't have Alice's full thoughts on this, so most people are really just gonna take this as the supposed kiss scene. Never mind that she would be kissing this coma dude. Kirito, just get that hashtag ready now. 3. The Dark Territory backstory is cut out. This covers a huge range, from all the Dark Territory leaders, Shasta, Libya, the Orc leader, Iskan, and even D to some extent. 4. The Renly episode. I mean, they give you a glimpse through the Renly character, but not enough. And then 5. Character thoughts or inner monologue being removed. A good example of this episode was Asuna's mental strain regarding her god account usage. I mean, just an episode ago, you had a good example of keeping character thoughts. That was with Asuna in deep thought regarding the whole mole situation. And let me just be fair to SAO. I do think SAO War of the Underworld has been better in terms of adaptation. Then, for one quick neutral point, which is actually regarding Gabriel. Right now, I do feel borderline as to whether they've done enough for the Gabriel character. I'm assuming right now that Gabriel's actually gonna get more focus in part 2. Keep in mind, this guy is one of the guys being regarded as the top SAO villain by a lot of people. And I don't know about that, especially from what you've gotten from him in the anime so far. For me, I think Quinella easily takes a cake over this guy, and just by default he'd be number 2. Next up, let me actually address this confusion that I seen from some of you last video, which is just how can some people log into the Underworld without using a SAO translator? Doesn't that remove what makes the Underworld special? Keep in mind that the Underworld was made using the seed package. It is possible to log in as long as you convert your character. If anything, Kayaboy would have been the one that built this requirement into his seed. Naturally, you do have the massive downsides that Liz just mentioned last episode. No pain absorbers, no real usable UI. If you die, your years of work will be deleted. Keep in mind, there is a major difference between using the SAO translator versus a regular player. The first key one is this connection to one's floodlight, which is really a major reason for the Underworld existing in the first place. The SAO translator does connect you via your own floodlight. This allows you to live in the Underworld at the elevated floodlight acceleration. For example, Kirito stuck in the Underworld for about 2 years now. For other players, this means they could only connect to the Underworld when time is synced up 1-to-1. Kirito himself also wouldn't be able to get his current treatment if he wasn't hooked up to the SAO translator. Without the SAO translator, that wouldn't have enabled Wrath to do any of that memory blockage from earlier either. Next up, really quickly, let me mention upcoming content. Unfortunately, SAO is officially on break for a while now. I do have some SAO videos planned that I didn't have a chance to make yet. And don't forget some upcoming My Hero Academia stuff, Attack on Titan, and general anime videos. Originally, I had planned to do My Hero Academia content alongside SAO videos. In fact, my channel manager highly recommended focusing on My Hero Academia instead. But, you know what I ended up doing. So look forward to an upcoming juicy SAO video, should be today. Check out my top anime coming in 2020. I'm currently working on the best anime for 2019. That's coming out in a few days. So definitely subscribe so you don't miss out, and I'll see you guys later.